friends, let's start with today's whole wheat baked karanchis or neuris. Now here are all the ingredients. This is 1 cup of whole wheat flour, 1 cup of freshly grated coconut, 1 teaspoon of cardamom or lychee powder, half a cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of hot oil and about a pinch of salt or salt to taste. Now in a bowl and of course some water to make the dough. Now I'm going to take the flour, the whole wheat flour, and I'm going to transfer it to a mixing bowl or a large bowl. I'm going to add salt to taste. Now I'm going to add this hot oil. And now we're going to mix this entire mixture till all of the flour gets coated with this hot oil. That is all the oil we're going to be using. So mix it really well. It becomes into a little darker consistency. And you should mix it till you're able to hold it like this and it doesn't crumble anymore. Now we're going to add a little water at a time. I used about a quarter cup of water because we want a very stiff dough. We don't want a soft dough. The dough should be such that if you poke your fingers like this, it leaves a mark behind. And the dough should also be smooth. So now we're going to let the dough rest for 15 minutes. In the meantime, we'll prepare our filling. So in a pan, I've taken the coconut, I've added the sugar and the lychee or the cardamom powder, and on a low to medium flame, I'm going to stir this till all of the sugar melts and till everything comes together well. So this takes just about 5 minutes and our mixture is ready. We don't want to overcook this because again, we're going to be baking the karanjis or the neuris, so again the mixture will get cooked. Now once it is ready, we're going to just transfer it to a bowl and keep it aside to cool completely. Then we're going to take a part of the dough and we're going to roll it out into thin chapatis or thin poris like this. Then I'm going to take a round mold, I'm using a vati, and I'm just going to cut out the shapes. Now I'm going to take about half a teaspoon and I'm just going to fill them onto one side. Then I'm going to just turn over the remaining and seal it up like this and press it down with your fingers. I'll show you a closer clip of how I'm doing it. Press it down and then again lift up the entire neuri or karanchi and just press it down with your fingers like this. Then I'm going to use a fork and just make a design. It also makes a design, but it also seals the karanchi or neuri really well. Now I've just lined a baking tray with some baking paper and I'm just going to keep all the karanchis on that or the neuris on that. So with the quantity I'm using, I got about 20 of these small little karanchis and neuris. So this is a closer look of how I'm putting it. So if there's a little excess, you can just take it out, but half a teaspoon should suffice. And they look really dainty if they're small like this. And don't use any flour when you're rolling out the chapati and make it as thin as possible. It becomes very elastic. That's because we added the hot oil, which is also called mohan, and that made the dough really elastic. So see that it's sealed very well because when we are baking it, we don't want the filling to come out. So seal it very tightly like this. And then by pressing down the fork, we ensure that it is completely sealed. Just press it at the edges, don't poke it where the filling is, like this. So it makes a design as well as it seals the karanchi or neuri very well. And at this time, it would be good if you preheated your oven to 200 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes. And then we're just going to bake these till they're lovely golden brown in color. So don't, space them out like, there should at least be an inch between them because they do puff up a little. And then I'm going to bake them for about 10 to 15 minutes till they're nice and golden brown. Keep an eye on them because every, oven is different. And here they are, friends. They're all ready. I'm going to break one just to show you. See, even the below part is nice and golden brown. I'm just going to break one to show you how nice and crispy they are. and it's really very delicious. So isn't this a real healthy way of making neuris or karanjis instead of deep frying? And they taste really amazing. Now these karanjis or neuris, have a long shelf life. So once they have completely cooled down, store them in an airtight container, preferably a steel or a glass container. So I hope you liked the raised recipe. I hope you give it a try.
Here I've taken 2 cups of all-purpose flour or maida. Then we require some salt, about half a teaspoon. This is some clarified butter. It should be melted, and some water. So now we're going to make the dough for the neuris. Now first I'm going to add about just a little bit of salt, half a teaspoon of salt. Then we're going to add, this is about 2 tablespoons of clarified butter. This makes the neuris very crunchy. Now we're going to give this a good mix. Now the neuris which I'm going to be showing you are made out of fresh coconut. There is also another recipe in which you can use desiccated coconut. The recipe is the same, only instead of fresh coconut, some people like to use the desiccated dried coconut, where in our home we all like the fresh neuris made out of fresh coconut. So I'll be showing you that recipe. So now this has started resembling crumbs, and now slowly by adding water we're going to make a dough. We don't want a very hard dough, we don't want a very soft dough, it should just be semi-soft. So just massage the water into this. If you find your dough has become too soft, you can always add a little bit of flour to make it into a semi-soft dough. Now this is also called karanji, which is made during Diwali. It's the same recipe. So just massage your dough well. So here our dough is all ready. We're going to cover this and keep it for at least half an hour to 1 hour to rest. Now we're going to prepare the filling of the neuris. So here I have 2 cups of fresh coconut. You can also use the desiccated dry coconut. You have to take exactly half the quantity of regular sugar. So whatever you're taking, whatever measure of coconut you're taking, just take half of that of sugar. Then I'm going to be using 1 teaspoon of cardamom powder, which is freshly ground at home. I've got a recipe for this, so I'll leave a link in the description box below. And I'm only going to be adding finely chopped cashew nuts. You can even add almonds, you can add kishmish, you can add black currants, whatever your choice. Now here I've heated up my pan. First is going to go in our coconut. And immediately we're going to also add in our sugar. Give this a good mix. Now we'll just mix this or stir this for about 2 minutes till everything comes together. The coconut has its own oil, so this gets cooked with that coconut oil. So there's no need of adding any butter or ghee. You will see in some time that the entire consistency of this sugar and coconut is going to change. Now you will see that the consistency has changed a bit. The sugar has melted. Now we can add in the cardamom powder or the velchi powder, and again give it a good mix. Now after about 5 to 10 minutes, you will see that it has started to change color into a darkish brown color. Now is the time to add your dry fruits, whatever of your choice. I'm adding the cashew nuts, and again we're going to stir. So this will actually take about 20 to 25 minutes for this filling of the NEURIS to get ready. I'm going to keep this for another 5 to 10 minutes because I want a little darker filling. So this is the color and the consistency I require. Now I'm going to switch off my gas stop and we're going to let this cool for some time. So now friends, I have just made small balls of the dough for the NEURIS. This is our stuffing, and I've just taken some butter paper and kept it on top of a plate. This is my rolling pin, and we're just going to roll out these balls, make the stuffing and then do the designs and keep the NEURIS aside. So now we're going to take one ball and we're going to put it on this board, roll it out, now we're going to take some of the filling, place it in the center, and then just take this edge, put it down here, press it down so as to seal it, and then with a cutter like this or a pizza cutter, just gently make a nice design. Remove this, we're going to be using this later, and then with this part just press it down so you get a nice design on this NEURIS. And plus the edges get sealed like this. Now one design I learned from my grandmother, I'll show it to you. What she used to do is, she used to first press the edges and then just keep on folding it in this pattern. Just take the edge, press it down, so you get a very pretty pattern like this. Now one more pattern is, once you come to this step, you just cut edges like this, leaving a gap, and then you fold one, you keep one open, fold one, keep one open, alternating, and then with this you just make a design on the one which is open. So this too is another pattern. So friends, I'll make quite a few of them and then we'll just have to fry them in some clarified butter or ghee. And here I have some toop or clarified butter or ghee heating up on a slow flame. I have made just a few just now, just to show you all. So I'm going to fry these, and now that our oil is hot, we're going to put in one of these NEURIS and just put some oil on the top so that it nicely puffs up. We want a very light golden color. Keep your gas flame between slow and medium, not on a high flame. Oh, the aroma is so amazing of the coconut and the pastry. And then we're going to drain this on some kitchen napkin. The most important thing is to see that your NEURIS are properly sealed so that they don't break open. Otherwise all the filling will come out into the ghee. You can also fry this in oil. So in this way, we'll fry all the neuris. And here, friends, are our neuris all ready. No Christmas tray in a Goan home is complete without these neuris. So I hope you like this easy recipe.
So for today's NEURIS recipe, I've taken 1 cup of plain flour or maida. This is 1/4 cup of fine rava or semolina, 1/4 cup of melted ghee or clarified butter, salt to taste, and approximately 1/4 cup of water. Now I'm going to add the flour as well as the rava or the semolina to a bowl, add some salt to taste, and mix the three well. Now, if you don't have fine semolina, just grind the medium semolina in your mixer pot. Now, I'm going to add 7 teaspoons of hot ghee to this, and I'm going to crumble this mixture with my fingers till it starts to resemble breadcrumbs. So you should be able to hold the mixture like this. That means the ghee has nicely coated the flour. And now we're just going to add very little water at a time and just mix everything. We don't want a very soggy dough and we don't want a very dry dough. So just add a little water at a time. Mix all the dough really well. And now we're going to knead the dough for at least a whole minute till the dough doesn't stick to your hands anymore. So just keep kneading it. This is very important that you knead the dough well because we want a very flexible dough and it shouldn't stick to your fingers or your hands as you're kneading it. So I'm going to add a few drops of the ghee again and I'm just going to again knead it really well. So a whole minute at least you need to knead this dough. Now I'll show you a closer look of how the dough should be. If you poke your fingers or you press your fingers down on the dough, it should make a mark on the dough and it shouldn't bounce back like you would with a pizza dough. And now we're going to rest this dough for about 2 to 3 hours, which is also very important. Now we're going to start working on the filling. So here I've taken 4 cardamoms or elaichis. I'm just going to peel them. And then in my mortar and pestle, I'm just going to grind them to a very fine powder. Now if you're using ready-made powder, you need about approximately 1 teaspoon. This really elevates the flavor of the filling. So once this is done, just set it aside. Now I'm going to roughly chop up some cashew nuts and some raisins, which are also called kishmish. We're just going to chop them up roughly. You could also add almonds. And we're going to set this aside. Now I'm going to use 1 cup of desiccated coconut, 1 cup of powdered sugar, 1 tablespoon of poppy seeds or khaskhas. This is the same elaichi powder that we just finely ground, and the chopped cashew nuts and raisins. So this is going to be our filling. So first I'm going to dry roast the desiccated coconut on a very low flame, continuously stirring it till you get a very light brown color and you get this lovely aroma of the coconut. Now once that is done, you're going to transfer this to a bowl. Now wipe your pan clean and again you're going to roast the poppy seeds for very little, just about half a minute, and then you're going to transfer that to the bowl in which we have transferred the coconut. So this doesn't have to be fried or roasted very long, just a little bit, and transfer it to the bowl. Again wipe your pan, and now we're going to dry roast the cashew nuts and the raisins, and again transfer that to the bowl. So now we finish with roasting. Now we're just going to add the cardamom powder that we ground, and we're going to give this a good mix. And now I'm going to add the powdered sugar and mix all of this really well. Now I'm going to transfer this mixture back to the pan on a very low flame, and I'm going to roast this till the sugar starts to melt and you get a little bit of a light brown kind of a filling. So this should take you about half a minute or so. And even the color of the filling will become a little light golden brown, and you'll get this beautiful aroma of the coconut. So set this aside. And now we'll start on the dough. So I'm going to make small balls like this, which have to be really smooth without any cracks in them. And then I'm just going to roll out the ball like this. You're not going to add any flour to our rolling board because our dough is so easy to work with. You should be able to lift this once you have rolled it out like this. Now I'm just going to take a teaspoon of the filling. Don't take too much of the filling or don't take too less also. About a teaspoon should do. And then just dab some water on, half of the circle. Just put all the filling together in the center. And then just fold one side onto the other like this. Now you got to seal the edges really, really well. This is very, very important because if you don't do that, then when you go to deep fry these neuris, they're just going to crack open and all the filling is going to go into the oil and it's going to be a real fiasco. And then just cut off the edges like this. If you don't have a cutter like this, you can just use a pizza cutter or regular knife and then just dab this design down. That's also optional, and then you get this beautiful neuri. So this is one way of doing it. I'll just show you a few more designs. So this is the same design. I'm just showing it to you again. Now, if you don't have this kind of a cutter, you can also make a design with a fork by just pressing down the fork on, once you have cut off the extra edges. And then this is another design where I'll just show it to you. So once you've done this part, then you just pick, fold, pick, fold, pick, fold to one side and pick, fold to the other side, and you get this kind of a design. And then there's one design where you don't cut off the excess, you just dab down the wheel of the cutter and then just make a rough kind of a design if you don't want to cut off the excess and you like the crispy ends. And one is where you just cut off the excess and just leave it at that without making any other designs. So there are lots and lots of ways of, making these neuris. Each family definitely has their own special way of making it. So that's it. And then once all your neuris are done, you're just going to heat up your oil. Now you can just put a ball of the dough into the oil to test if the oil is ready. And once the ball comes up like this and turns brown, your oil is all ready. So you just put the neuris into the pan. Don't overcrowd the pan. And then just fry them till they're nice and golden brown in color. And drain off the excess oil onto some kitchen napkins, and that's it, friends. Your neuris are all ready to enjoy. They're really crispy and crunchy, and the filling also is really yummy. So I hope you give this recipe a try.
Friends, I hope you like today's recipe as well as today's video, and if you would like to see more videos like this, then don't forget to leave this video a big thumbs up. Also, by clicking the thumbs up icon. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and become a part of Akshata's recipes. Once you have subscribed, there is a small little bell icon that will pop up, so just click on that. That way, whenever I put up a new recipe or a new video, you'll get a message for the same. So on that note, I'll say bye and I'll catch you in my next video sooner than you think. This is Akshata saying bye, take care, stay healthy, stay fit, be kind and loving to one another. So till we meet again, bye. Thank you.